It's newsletter time. One of the most common questions I'm asked out and about in the wild is like, how's the market? How are things going? So I always like to preface the details of my newsletter with a little market update. 2025 has been a pretty great year, very similar, maybe slightly more sales volume than 2024. It's kind of much like 2023, just a blend, which I've been saying all along. I don't see any crazy changes in prices or in sales volume, meaning the number of sales, for the rest of this year. Probably even, I don't know what next year is going to be like. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Our market has been through so much uncertainty and is still quite strong, which we'll get to. So, general market update would be that there have been times in 2025 where we've seen the inventory of houses for sale or properties for sale starting to climb, which means more listings than sales. But then it keeps getting gobbled up by sales. So it's quite consistent. It's a very balanced market. We are sometimes seeing multiple offers. If the listing strategy is really aggressive in price and something's a really good deal, then we sometimes do see multiple offers. Rarely are things selling for like way more than asking. And rarely are buyers, waiving financing and home inspection conditions in order to win those multiples. So it's pretty stable. Average days on market, it's about 54 days. So that has, an average number is taking like the 1 day sales and the 2 year sales and blending it, but it's still a way to track the market and compare to other years. So it's a pretty good year, nothing crazy in terms of price and volume. On the grand scheme of the world, crazy. Sometimes I wonder if the world has lost its mind. I digress. So first I want to talk about a few facts that you need to know. You may already know them, you may not. I keep having conversations with people that don't know about these changes. Sometimes those people are realtors, which has me pausing for like, okay, let me bring these back into the newsletter again. Number one, changes to property transfer tax over the last couple of years. There is a new construction, like new home construction exemption. So if you purchase a new home from a developer or builder and you are paying, you'll be paying GST on that purchase, or at least negotiating with GST, but you are not paying property transfer tax. So there is an exemption as long as the purchase price does not exceed $1.1 million. The other the other property transfer tax change is that they increased the exemption limit for the first-time homebuyer exemption. So property transfer tax is paid to the province of BC on every transaction of real estate, condos, vacant land, house, all the time, unless there is an exemption. And the exemptions are granted, like I said, to new construction, also first-time homebuyers. And there are exemption requirements, naturally, for the human and the price that's paid. Previously, if you spent more than $500,000 as a first-time buyer, you would void your exemption. And they've increased that property value to $835,000. So if you spend less than $835,000 and you are a first-time buyer and you are a resident of BC for the last 12 months and you're either a permanent resident of Canada or a citizen, you don't have to pay property transfer tax for that one time, which is awesome. It's a cash tax that eats up, $8,000 to $12,000 of your down payment in most cases for average prices. So that's fantastic. Another rule that has changed, this is a few years old, but I'm still having this conversation about strata properties and long-term tenancies. So the provincial government has overridden strata law and said no longer are strata corporations allowed to pass bylaw rules that prevent the rental of strata properties to long-term tenants, which means all condos, townhomes, strata duplexes are allowed to rent to long-term tenants, can't be restricted. There can still be age restriction, but only if the strata property is willing to age restrict to 55 plus. That's the only legal the only legal age restriction that is allowed through strata law. Another change is short-term rentals. So a lot of people are like, oh, you can't have Airbnbs anymore. Yes, you can. You are allowed to have short-term rentals. Doesn't have to be on Airbnb. Short-term rentals in your primary residence. So if you have a basement suite, a carriage home, a shop with a suite above it, whatever, on your primary residence, you absolutely can short-term rent it. Yes, you have to go through the portal, through the BC government, and prove that it's your primary residence, but that's happening. Absolutely. And if you have more questions about that, I'll have a more private conversation with you. I really want to speak to the stability of our market because it is impressing me. I have watched this market navigate a federal election, rapid interest rate changes over the last couple of years, rising construction costs, labor shortages, tariff threats, a ton of stuff happening, obviously, in the United States, Gaza, war, like so much shit, pardon my French. And I mean, the market is reactive, right? So when things happen, humans get nervous, uncertain, scared, and they retract, they pull back their confidence, they pull back their spending, they pull back their courage in maybe something they were going to take a risk on. So I would say the market is reacting to those uncertainties for sure. But if we zoom out and look at the last few years, super, super stable, which is pretty awesome. And it's quite impressive. And people want to be here on this island. People are relocating from all over in Canada. The prairies, I would say the prairies and west, most commonly in my business. And if you're a realtor who's listening, who's had a different experience, then share with me. That's my experience. And look where we live, you know, the quality of life here is really high. People are coming for the lifestyle. They're coming for nature, land, weather, etc. I don't see that demand and that desire changing. I do predict that once, if ever, the world becomes more certain, rates stay where they are consistently or come down slightly, the market will go off on another tear because there's a lot of pent up demand still based on the desire of wanting to be here. So that's pretty cool. What else do we have? Let me look. Oh yeah, I bought a house, which is exciting. And I've been thinking a lot during that process about a few things worth sharing. One is the team, the people. Oh my goodness, having people on your team, whether that's a realtor, whether that is a contractor who can help you navigate, you know, concerns physically about the property, a mortgage broker who's willing to sit with your uncertainty, help you build some confidence, play with the spreadsheets. I love my mortgage broker so much. Accountant. I was down to the wire trying to figure this out mathematically for me and ended up sitting with my accountant who looked me dead in the eye and he's like, "You are overanalyzing this." I was like, got it. It's exactly what I needed to hear. He's like, "People do this every day. You can do this. You're overthinking it. It's stressing you out. It's self-made." I'm like, okay, got it. And then that really, really, really helped. So it's not just for me ever. It's not just about like the math and all of it. It's the team also helps me pull together, feeling like I'm not doing it on my own. The confidence, yes, the math, the plan, the structuring. So, so, so important. So wow, love that. I am my own realtor when I'm buying real estate, but you know, the realtor's not the only person on the support team, which is not news to me, but it was lovely to have my own personal experience. I haven't bought a house in a few years, so. Second thing that was on my mind that I was navigating in real time is that we don't have to make forever decisions when we're buying real estate. I currently live in quite a small home that is tight fitting for my family situation. Myself and my 3 children share a bathroom, and that's tight. There are a few pinchy tight spots in here, and I don't need a big giant family home forever. I have teenagers, but I need it for now. I need it for like 5, 6, 7 years. And then my ultimate dream is probably to have land, maybe a farm. It doesn't have to be like a super productive farm, but like a hobby farm is what I mean. Just like, you know, animals and food and privacy and space. And like, I can so feel that for the future. But for right now, I need a family home. So when I was shopping, I'm like, okay, I need to find a house that fits us for now, for 6 years, let's say. And what am I going to do with it in 6 years? I'll buy something that's easy to resell in 6 years, that isn't going to require a ton of capital to be reinvested 6 years later, meaning the roof's gonna last that long, the heating's gonna last that long. I don't have to do anything crazy. I don't have those skills. And then also, could I keep this as a rental in the future? So choosing a layout that's flexible, that would allow me to be flexible, because I don't know what life looks like in 6 years. So those things helped me lock in, right? I have lived in this lovely home for 3 years, navigated a lot of personal change, including a divorce, a rearrangement of family structure, not having kids full time, which are things I didn't expect, right? And when you're, I don't know, building your life, making big decisions. And then, so I've sat here and thought like, okay, what do I want to do next? I could do this, I could do that, And 3 years have gone by. Like, time does not wait. Time just treks along. And I'm not even sure of the exact moment that I got snapped into action, but I just had this realization of like, oh, if I ruminate about this for a couple more years, I'll only have a couple years left of even needing the family home. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to have that experience with my children of space for sleepovers and friends and company and all of it. And then it doesn't have to be forever, which really took the pressure off of making a perfect choice. Now, is that the only way to shop for real estate? Absolutely not. I work for people all the time that have been living in their houses for 50 years, or they're looking for the house they want to be in for 50 years. And that is beautiful. I'm just saying that has not been my experience. The house I just bought is the 8th house that I've purchased in my 19 years of owning houses. So that's a lot, right? But I love it. I love it so much. And then lastly, I just want, well, actually 2 things. I want to say, if your mortgage is coming up for renewal in the next 2 or 3 years, reply to the email. Let me know. I can help you. I can connect you with someone who is helping people refinance early, willing to negotiate with your current lender, locking in rates less than 4% on refinances, not on new purchases. And that is really important. So I can help. You don't have to do it by yourself. You need an insurance company for your house insurance, I can help you. And that is a beautiful segue into inviting you, if you aren't already inside of what I would call like my inner circle, welcome in. Just let me know. I'll pop you in. Inner circle means closer contact than newsletters, access to a list, like a resource guide of the best, in my opinion, best contractors in town, whether it is property managers, plumbers, someone to replace your hot water tank, someone to weed your garden hourly, a dump run person, deep cleaners. Gosh, I have the best cleaner ever. There's a lot. There's a lot that I can offer in support that doesn't have to be about specifically buying and selling, and I would love to. That's why I'm here. So don't be shy. If you want to be in closer and in on all that good stuff, then just let me know. And I would love to have you. That's pretty much it. Summer was wonderful. I had so much time with my children. We traveled to the Kootenays, which was really special. We hadn't been back together, my kids and I, in 7 years since we left. I spent 10 years living in the Kootenays, so that has a big imprint on my soul and who I am. And it was really wonderful to reconnect with some family and some really close friends, and watch my children just like instantly integrate back into cousin energy, which is so special. Now we are in the rhythm of school, which is like a bit whiplashy for sure. Sports, tryouts, lunches, Costco, crazy, and absolutely still holding my beautiful business, which makes it all possible. It really does. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to be able to use my skills and my experience to service our community and to be here to care for you. So please, if I can be of any help to you, don't be shy. I'd love to. And I hope you enjoy your back to school, if that's part of your life, or your transition into fall socks, winter playlists, soup. I'm here for it.